Hi friends, this is Colonel Pradeep Pindyala, your buddy. Have you ever thought, how does the body produce energy? Today I am going to tell you the same. There are four methods to create ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's the unit of the energy which we use for our day-to-day requirement. Energy is delivered to body through the foods we eat and the liquids we drink. Now, foods contain a lot of stored chemical energy which we eat. Our body breaks down these foods into smaller components and absorbs them to use as fuel. Energy comes from three main nutrients, namely carbohydrates, protein, and fats. With carbohydrates being the most important energy source. I'm sure you know about it. Now, in cases where carbohydrates have been depleted, the body can utilize protein as well as fats for its energy requirement. Our metabolism is the chemical reaction in the body's cells that change the food into energy. Most of the energy the body needs is being used only during rest, known as basal metabolism. This is the minimum amount of energy the body requires to maintain its vital functions, such as breathing, circulation, and organ function. The rate at which the energy is utilized for such functions is known as basal metabolic rate, BMR, and varies based on genetics, sex, age, height, and weight. Our BMR drops as we get older because muscle mass decreases with growing age. Now, optimal energy metabolism requires getting sufficient nutrients from our foods. Otherwise, our energy metabolism underperform and we feel tired and sluggish. All foods give us energy. Some foods in particular help increase our energy levels, such as bananas. Don't miss eat them. Excellent source of carbohydrate, potassium, and also vitamin B6. Fatty fish like salmon and tuna, good source of protein, fatty acids, and vitamin B. Brown rice is the best source of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. And don't forget to include eggs in your daily diet. Best source of protein. There are actually many foods that provide an abundant amount of energy, particularly those packed with carbohydrates for available energy, fiber or protein for slow release of energy, and essential vitamins, minerals, and also antioxidants. Now, foods are metabolized at a cellular level to make ATP, adenosine triphosphate, by a process known as cellular respiration. It is this chemical ATP that the cell uses for energy for many cellular processes, including muscle contraction and cell division. This process requires oxygen and it is known as aerobic respiration. Let me tell you the things which you might have learned or forgotten. Glucose, when it's added with oxygen, produces carbon dioxide, water, and energy in the form of, as I told you, ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Initially, Large food macromolecules are broken down by enzymes into simple subunits in the process known as digestion. That's all we do. Proteins are broken down into amino acids, polysaccharides into sugars, and fats into fatty acids and glycerol through the action of specific enzymes. Following this process, the smaller subunit molecules then have to enter the cells of the body. They firstly enter the cytosol, the aqueous part of the cytoplasm of a cell where the cellular respiration process begins. That's known as aerobic respiration. It has 4 stages: glycolysis, the link reaction, citric acid or Krebs cycle, which I'm sure you have read, and electron transport chain. Now, normally, very interestingly, the process of aerobic respiration takes place when the body requires sufficient energy just to live, as well as to carry out everyday activities and perform cardio exercise. Well, this process yields more energy than the anaerobic system. It is also less efficient and can only be used during lower intensity activities. So, if we have slow and steady energy requirement, our net energy production from aerobic respiration equals around 30 to 32 molecules of ATP. Let me tell you the equation. Glucose plus oxygen releases carbon dioxide plus water and energy in the form of 30 to 32 ATP. And now, coming to anaerobic respiration. I'm sure you must be wondering, what the hell is this anaerobic respiration? Human muscle can respire anaerobically also. Now, what is this? This is a process that does not require oxygen. How? The process is relatively inefficient as it has net energy production of only 2 molecules of ATP. Now, why these 2 molecules of ATP and how they are sufficient? This is effective during vigorous exercise of between 1 to 3 minutes duration, such as short sprints. If the intense exercise like short sprints, more energy than can be supplied by the oxygen available, our body will partially burn glucose without oxygen. That is known as anaerobic metabolism. Without the presence of oxygen, the electron transport chain cannot work. Therefore, the usual number of ATP molecules cannot be made. The anaerobic pathway uses pyruvate, the final product of glycolysis stage, and pyruvate is reduced to lactic acid by NADH, leaving NAD after the reduction. This reduction or reaction is catalyzed by the enzyme lactate dehydrogenase, and this leads to the recycling of NAD. This then allows the process of glycolysis to continue. Now, lactic acid, can you understand, can you believe, the byproduct from anaerobic respiration builds up in the muscles, causing the burn or the burning feel during the strenuous activity. If more than few minutes of this activity are used to generate ATP, lactic acid acidity increases, causing painful cramps. That's the reason for muscle cramps. The extra oxygen we breathe in following intensive exercise reacts with the lactic acid in our muscles, breaking it down to make carbon dioxide and water. So this is it. Summing up, I would say exercises that are performed at maximum rates for about 1 to 3 minutes depend heavily on anaerobic respiration, not the aerobic respiration for ATP energy. Also, in some performances such as running 1500 meters or a mile, the lactic acid system is used predominantly for the kick at the end of the race. I hope you have enjoyed my brief introduction of energy metabolism and the source of energy that we need in everyday life. I'm signing off tonight. This is Colonel Pradeep Pendiala. Until my next lecture, take care. Bye bye. Until then, good night.